final is upon us. It's less than 24 hours away. And now I'm ready to make my prediction. So if you haven't seen my preview series, go back and check that out. But I run through all of the key talking points, some of the tactical play that you can expect, the impact of the selections, the 7-1, the 5-3, the conditions, the ref. I cover all the components of this game to ultimately land on my prediction. So that should give you some context behind why I'm leaning the way that I am. But before we get into that, I just want to celebrate what has been a fantastic tournament and now what concludes with a historic event. First time in 28 years that the top two teams in rugby meet to settle another score and add a historic chapter to our storied rivalry. So I couldn't be more excited about that. And you guys have been fantastic with comments online, the respectfulness, the positivity around the match has just been really, really cool to see. It doesn't always have to be trash talk, and that can sometimes happen online, but these two fan bases have the utmost respect for each other. And I'll echo a lot of the sentiments that's getting raised online. As an All Blacks fan, as a long-time All Blacks supporter, if there's one team I don't mind losing a final to, it is South Africa, it is the Springboks. So, I'm really, really looking forward to this one. And it is a celebration, as I say, and players, given the historic nature of this, there's no greater motivation needed for these matches. I mean, it is a World Cup final, so both teams will be supremely motivated. But I do want to talk a little bit about what ultimately motivates these two teams, because sometimes these intangible factors can end up being major points in the context of results. And when I look at these two teams, obviously we saw it in 2019, we saw it in 1995, that the Springboks, the Rainbow Nation, they play for a nation, and they play to unite a nation. And, as a player, and I've heard John Smith talk about this, the burden that they shoulder as a result of that can be a heavy burden, but it can also help them to, really get over the line in those critical moments. So, and there's going to be no bigger war of attrition than this. So those motivation factors can be quite telling. And on the All Blacks side, a long, proud history of All Blacks rugby, of success, of being the best, and somehow that has come into question in the last World Cup cycle in the last 4 years. The captain was called not so great Richie McCaw. Obviously, a number of teams have historic firsts against the All Blacks in the last 4 years. And for an All Blacks team that is under significant amount of pressure, that starts to find some success. And now you have ex-players coming into the dressing room of the All Blacks and saying, this could be the greatest chapter in All Blacks history. Because it's an unexpected position that they find themselves in, given the challenges that they've faced to date. So some players, motivations, and certainly the importance of uniting a nation is supremely important. And for others, it is about pride. Pride in jersey, pride in performance, and pride in those people that you represent. So with that, I'm going to give you one more thing before I give you my prediction. And do not skip this. It's very important. I've had a very good World Cup in terms of my predictions and outcomes and bets as well. So I'm going to run a subscriber giveaway. So there's going to be 2 subscriber giveaways in this video. And all you need to do is subscribe to the video and give me your prediction. So I'm going to give you my prediction. You give me your prediction. Who is going to win this and what will the scores be? I need to know the scores as well. Because when I ultimately determine who's the winner of the subscriber giveaway, it'll be, firstly, you have to select the team that wins, and secondly, it'll be a combination of closest score and margin. So give me the scores, and that is your entry into the subscriber giveaway. The second subscriber giveaway is for those that have been subscribed since 2019. So when you add your prediction, if you were here at the last World Cup, then please add that in. You've been here since 2019. You remember the prediction series from the last World Cup. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I read every single comment. So, and a lot of those comments from back in 2019 really stick with me. And the reason why I'm celebrating this is because I just hit 10,000 subscribers and we have a Rugby World Cup. I'm feeling in a good mood. So I'm going to give 2 prizes away to subscribers. So make sure you're subscribed, then give me your prediction, and then let me know if you were here in 2019. Now to my prediction. What do I think are the important factors and who do I think wins? Okay, first thing I'm going to touch on is the bomb squad. And, the makeup of that bomb squad, the 7-1 split, the risk-reward ratio. I think it is a risk that is worth taking for the Springboks. I think the reward is the Rugby World Cup. And I expect that they can dominate that last 20 minutes and get over the top of the All Blacks, really, if the game is close, right? If the game is close going to the last 20 minutes, I see a scrum improvement with the 2 second units facing off. I see a physicality improvement. I see, a lot of advantages there for that Springboks pack coming on to try and drive their team forward. And on the back of someone like Handré Pollard, who can kick goals from anywhere in your half, as well as just over halfway, they become supremely dangerous if they're chasing a game. We've seen it in the last 2 games against France, right? Getting home late. We saw it against England, backing their set piece and getting home late. So if this game goes close, the Springboks will win. On the other side, you have an All Blacks team. And a lot of people who have spoken about this game speak about the forward dominance of the Springboks and the back dominance, or the attacking flair of the All Blacks. Now, while that is marginally true, it misses a couple of really important factors. And that is that the All Blacks have big, physical forwards, that can match it with any team in the world. And that I suspect, for the period of play in the first half, will be able to match it with these Springboks. The All Blacks line-out has gone well. The scrum has gone well, in this tournament and in the lead-up. The team is fit. They're great at breakdown. The accuracy is there. And they are going to need all of that just to compete with this Springbok forward pack. But what I'm saying right now is I believe they can. And then on the other side, we talk about the All Blacks have the flair and the backs to really, punish teams when they need to. Well, so too do the Springboks. You look at a Cheslin Colby, you look at a Kurtley Arendse, Damian Willemse is dangerous. Handré Pollard can kick goals from anywhere. There are points in this team on the other side as well. And the nature of Damian de Linde being supremely underrated from an attacking perspective, he had very close stats to Bundy Aki in this World Cup in terms of, carries, dominant carries, meters gained, maybe not so much tries, but certainly a lot of his attacking stats, line breaks, were on par or in alignment with some of the top players in this competition. However, there are frailties on both sides. And where I see some of the frailties on the All Black side, right? There's potential discipline issues there. Scott Barrett, we know. That game in London, Scott Barrett supremely punished. Also, if the All Blacks are under a lot of pressure, what we tend to see them do is give away tactical penalties to stop tries. So we saw that from Sam Cane is guilty of doing that as well. If the All Blacks come under a lot of pressure, he might be the person to disrupt the ball and slow the game down and ultimately result in a yellow card. On the other side, I do worry about the wear and tear on this Springbok squad, and namely from players like Bongi and Benambi. I think that is an area that the All Blacks will think they can try and get some ascendancy late in the game. I mean, if he comes off early, that's a problem for the Springboks not having a specialist hooker. If he comes off late, there's a lot of damage that can be done in those last sort of components of the game towards the end of the half. And that is because the All Blacks favour high possession play, high phase play, and they're doing so with accuracy. Now, will the rain impact the game? I think it might slow teams down a little bit, but I think the same factors are really in play. The All Blacks are not relying on their backs to win this game. They're relying on their forwards, okay? So with all of that said, and with the risks also that exist around the 7-1 split, I am leaning towards the All Blacks to win this game. I spoke about the game management options, the different styles that they can play. I do think that the All Blacks have all the skills to be able to win a lot of different types of games. And I do think that first half could be quite telling. The All Blacks have had the best starts in recent memory in terms of not allowing other teams to score tries on them in the first 20 minutes and being able to put points on themselves. So I do expect the All Blacks will start quite fast. But then I expect that the Springboks will be able to match them, sort of the midpoint of that half. Towards the back end of the half, some of the wear and tear could tell. Maybe the All Blacks score a try just before half time. And then into the second half, it becomes a war of attrition. And in a final, right, even if you're up against the might of a bomb squad, and we go back to that game against Ireland, 37 phases, after the 80th minute, that gave me a lot of confidence in this All Blacks ability to weather that storm and close out this game. So that is my prediction. And, predictions aside, as I mentioned at the top, If the Springboks win, I'll be the first to congratulate you. If any other teams to beat the All Blacks, let it be the Springboks, and let us celebrate that rivalry in the game's biggest showcase event. Don't forget about the subscriber giveaway, guys. Make sure that you go down, give me your prediction, give me the winner, the score, and let me know if you were here in 2019. I'm going to select 2 winners, one with the closest score, and one I'm going to select of the 2019 subscribers that are still here. I want to thank you all. I've really enjoyed covering this World Cup, and there's plenty more coming from Haka Time Rugby. See you guys.